Yeah, I'm ready. Yep. All right, you guys asked for it. Hey, Pit Nation, Storm Nation, Brooklyn Styles Nation, Las Vegas. Well, we got a Fly Nation here. Las Vegas High Rollers Nation, the whole bowling nation. I put a call into AJ the other day and asked AJ if he'd be willing to come on the show. So we're going to get him on the show here in just a few minutes. But it's amazing to me how a little bit of controversy and a little bit of adrenaline can end up making for a huge amount of discussion. For those of you that don't know, we just finished bowling the PBA League down in Virginia, and as our first match against the Las Vegas High Rollers, that's their name, right? I think that's what it is. Las Vegas High Rollers, as they started out, AJ Johnson was their leadoff bowler, and he got a strike, and he kind of wandered over into our lane. We were actually bowling on lanes, as an example, even than odd. So we were bowling on like lanes 4 and 5, rather than like 5 and 6. So each team had its own ball return. So AJ got up and he struck, and he came wandering over into our lane and was like, "Yeah, come on, let's go." And he was just trying to get his team riled up. But in a way, I kind of took it a little bit, certainly not personal, but a little bit like, come on, that's the first frame. You're going to act that way? So I got up and I got a strike, and I walked back like nothing was going on. And then I let out "Oh, come on, let's go," like mocking AJ, in a way to kind of get in his head, in a way to get our team rallying. And as I leaned down and walked off the approach to pick up our mask, because that was the rule, you had to go ahead and get your mask on as soon as you stepped off the approach. As I leaned down, I let it out. I said, "Effing stupid. And you're going to do that in the first frame. You messed with the wrong group," or something like that. Wrong group of guys or something. Well, little did I know that my mic was hot at that time. And then that set off a barrage. So, AJ, I've known AJ a long time. He can be a little riled up at times and a little over the top at times, I guess, as can I. But I did. I thought at that moment, that was effing stupid. So, so be it. It is what it is. And do we got AJ on yet? Tim, I don't know if he's on here yet. Oh, he's already on. All right.
Man. Didn't I take care of you a week ago?
And the best part about that was we started out with the first 5, and I ended up whispering to Johnny, our manager, finally something going our way. Frankie Lavoie, he threw a great shot and left the blower 7-10. And so I was thinking, okay, one for the good guys, so to speak. And then we came out of the commercial, and then I got up and I made a little adjustment off that first shot. I got a little, light, kind of sawed the 5 into the 7 strike.
Yeah.
So I made a little adjustment, got a little slow, and the ball jumped a little bit high, and I left the 4-9. So I'm thinking, son of a bitch. And maybe that was me that said it. I don't know. I've gotten texts from people throughout this whole week saying, how somebody said son of a bitch, and it might have been me. And then AJ got up and threw another great shot, and then he didn't say anything that time, but I got the evil eye. I got the stink eye. Well, then, little did I know, Randy Peterson, he was facilitating this whole thing over and over and over. and I want to see a fight, and I want to see a fist fight. And so I only learned about that at the end of the match. And so AJ and I, actually AJ, right after the match, I congratulated their 5 guys and said, "Great bowling, guys." And that's not an easy thing to have to do, to swallow your pride a little bit and admit defeat. But they did. They both great.
Especially when it's, what we do for a living too. And, the team competition is so much fun. And all the guys, because there's only one team competition for the year. So all the guys, like, they get behind their team and they get, they get behind everybody for it. And they're like, it's hard to do that when you lose and you're like, nah, like, screw that. I wanted to beat them.
Yeah. So as I congratulated them and we walked off the set and then they finished up their interview, I was putting my equipment away. And then all the guys started coming over and saying, "Holy cow, that was amazing." And then I turned on my phone and wow, there was all these messages. And then AJ came walking over and said, "Holy shit, look at all these, my phone is blowing up." And I didn't even know the real reason why. Well, come to find out, it was, Randy really stirring the pot over and over and over. And, listen, that's Randy's job. He's the color guy. His job is to provide color entertainment as best he can. So I don't have any hard feelings at all with Randy stirring it up a little bit. So AJ and I, we talked about it for a while in the parking lot, and there was other people laughing about it. And then I said, AJ, here, how about you pretend like you're beating me up in the parking lot or something like that? And so then that's why many of you saw that post. Do you have that picture? I can hold it up. So we ended up again, this is all for those of you that don't know. So we went into the parking lot and we did this. We made this picture in the parking lot of AJ pretending that he was letting me have it. and we had a little fun with it. And over the matter of the next 15 or 20 minutes, as the way when I took the screenshot, there was 160 something people that had either liked or commented on the thing. And now that was only friends of mine on Facebook. I have no idea what some of the people were saying to you. What an asshole, what a jerk. He's a piece of shit. I can't believe he's gained 50 pounds in the last 10 years. Whatever it ends up being, I don't care. I don't care because it's fun. It's fun right now. Now go ahead, AJ. You tell your side of the story, and then we'll just laugh with everybody and go from there.
So before the match that night, that was the day that we had found out, unfortunately, that Marshall's dad had passed away. Marshall and I traveled together, roomed together. We've been great friends for a very, very long time. And Marshall's dad, I've gone to him not only just to talk, but for bowling questions. And he actually made a lot of my thumbs over the years. So that was a rough day. I was pretty numb all day, kind of emotionless, trying to help Marshall as much as I could. I mean, that was the first time he came back to the room and just collapsed into my arms. And so I was kind of focused on that. So I got to the bowling center. I told my team, I said, "Hey guys, look, I'm all in. I'm here." I said, "I just don't know how I'm going to be, come showtime because here's what's happened. I've just been kind of numb and emotionless throughout the day." So we practice and we get to the show, and right before we get ready to bowl, while we're throwing practice shots, Frankie and Andrew had come up to me and they're like, "Hey man, we understand what's going on. We know you're here and you're focused and we appreciate that." But they said, "Look, man, we need you to be you. We need you to do what you do because we want to get this match going right away and set the energy level right from the get-go." And I said, "All right." I said, "It's what you guys want. We'll get it going." And so I threw a shot and thought that it was a little bit light. I tripped the 10 out late. And so I was like, it's just all the emotion and the energy and stuff from the league. It just happens raw. Like it just happens. I played a lot of sports growing up as a kid. And so that emotion and stuff kind of comes out of me in the team setting from, playing sports before. I love when our team does really well and we do things that we can get excited about and get loud, and because I think at times it's an advantage. Like you can change momentum of a game that way. So I did what I did. I don't even remember what I said, but I was just trying to get the guys going right away. I mean, we were the last match of the night. We had been there for like 4 hours all
day long. We were there all day long. We had a practice session earlier in the afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we were allowed to come back and practice from 6 o'clock until the first match started.
Right.
And it really was. It kind of dragged on. But let me just pause 1 second. Marshall Kent, to you and your family, I got to tell you, I remember what it was like to lose my father, and while it was under different circumstances, I'll never forget when you found out that your dad was sick, and you made the TV show down in Columbus, and you shaved your head, and all of us were rooting for you and your dad that day, and then now to hear that finally. He lost his battle. I'm really sorry, Marshall. And, to those of you that have watched Marshall Bowl, he's certainly one of the top talents out on tour. There's probably 10 or 15 guys now that have came on the tour, and just in the last couple of years that they've revolutionized the tour. And Marshall is certainly one of those guys. So, Marshall, to you and your family, I can't say the hurt's going to stop, because it doesn't. But my heart goes out to you and your family. And again, I had only met your dad one time, and he was as genuine as everybody has said that he is over this last week. I hear so many comments about people saying how great of a guy he was. So I was very fortunate to have just had a few-minute conversation with him. So, Marshall, again, I'm really sorry about how everything went. So now back to the controversy. So we did it. It was a very long day, and to the people that had commented about, I think they staged all that kind of stuff, I'm telling you, there's nothing staged about it.
It's nothing staged.
A long time ago, Rick Benoit. I was making TV shows, and I was on another staff, but I was making TV shows, and I would be on the show, and my whole brain would be, holy crap, I hope this guy screws up, or I hope I don't screw up. And it was only until, I want to say, the Jason Couch match was the first time that, and he did a very similar thing, believe it or not, AJ. If you guys were to look up Brad Angelo, Jason Couch, he started out the very, very first frame, and did hit. It certainly wasn't as loud as yours, but he got a strike, and he came back, and he was
You're trying to say,
he was type of thing. And before you know it, I got angry at that, and I don't know why. Whether it's my adrenaline or my nervousness at that time. You talk about nerves, but I got mad at Jason, and that was one of the matches that I ended up bowling great. And so Rick and I came up with the idea, you got to find something to get mad at the other team for, and that helps you focus. You're a really good mad bowler. And there's a lot of guys on tour that are pretty good if you get them mad. Norm Duke, Pete Weber. You challenge some of these guys, they're the wrong guys to challenge. One of the young guns, Andrew Anderson, we're bowling a tournament here in Buffalo, the Bud Light Challenge. And one of the local guys here was bowling Andrew Anderson. And it was a really close match. And the guy from here, he gets up and he throws a strike, and he's kind of like slapping it out. And the guys in the back were riling him up, and way to go. And I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, but you're doing that to the wrong guy, because Andrew got up and he went off the sheet. And, so there's very few good mad bowlers. And So anyway, regarding our little controversy, that was one thing that, and it did. It rubbed me the wrong way at that moment. It certainly doesn't affect the way that I feel about you and our friendship.
Oh yeah.
But at that moment, if we're bowling pot games or if we're bowling competition or something like that, I mean, I want to get in your face, and I want to be like, come on, let's go. And to me, that's the fun of it. To me, that's sports. The only part of
that they don't get to see that anymore with bowling, because a lot of guys they throw shots, they come back, there's no emotion, there's nothing. And and obviously it's different in the team setting than it is bowling individually. And I've learned that a lot over the years of separating that, because the league's separated and it's a special event. And so people like seeing that. Now, in certain times when you're bowling individually, oh yeah, of course you let it out and you show the emotion, and you can use it to your advantage, like you're saying. I've had matches where I've had guys come up to me and they're like, we could tell you were a little pissed off when we knew we had to bowl like 270 or better to beat you. But it just happens. Like I was saying, we were the last match that night, and when they had told me before when we got started that they wanted me in that position to just get the match going right away, and I did, and it was just pure raw emotion that came out. And I think it got the match going. And then, later on, I don't think I needed to say anything in the sixth frame. I just give you the look because I'm like, what does he think I am? Barnes trying to call him out on a Brooklyn shot or something? That ain't working.
And that's the fun part of it. We had a comment here a couple minutes ago. You put up that comment. So I'm bowling this tournament in Columbus, and it was the doubles portion of the tournament. It was just a couple months ago.
Oh, yeah.
And Jason Sterner and I were bowling doubles, and they finally posted the updated scores going into the last game, and Jason Sterner and I were in the lead. And AJ and his partner, I forget who you were bowling with, but AJ had put the guy on his back. AJ had averaged like 260 something all the way through to the last game. So I get up, and sure enough, I 4-9, or actually 4-7-9 in the 10th. And so I get the count, because I'm thinking, well, these guys got to strike out. So AJ gets up. He needs the double in the 10th to win the sweeper. And he throws the first one great. And I'm like, wow, that was pretty good. What are you going to do? If somebody gets up and sacks up and throws the shot to beat you, all you can do is shake their hand. So he gets up in the 11th frame, and he throws this one. I swore he threw it about 4 miles an hour faster. That's how good AJ is at his shot repetition skills.
Oh, there it is.
And he heaved it, and it was flying down the lane, and he barely hit the head pin, and the head pin goes – oh, see, I got my Starbucks drink. This is the head pin for right now.
Yeah.
So the head pin goes to the wall, and the 2-pin was standing, and the head pin comes over and whoop, drops the 2-pin forward. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Are you kidding me? That's what I get. So there, he beat me there, and I was pissed off about it. And then I carried it into our show in the team event, and they kicked our butts there too. The only thing I wish that didn't happen about that entire night for me, I wish, and I struggled with this for days afterwards. I had trouble sleeping. I wish that I didn't drop the F-bomb. Mm-hmm. I wish I would have just said effing stupid, or, you look stupid when you did that, or something like that, because my wife was watching, my kids were watching. There's people around Buffalo that come in our bowling center. They were watching. Believe it or not, many of them didn't even know that part happened, because they were laughing at me doing the whoa, great job, or whatever it was.
I didn't even know you had said it either.
Yeah, and so I guess I just let the cat out of the bag, because I did, and I really wish that I didn't. So, I guess here's my official apology that slipped out. But even then,
we had one that happened a little bit later too. So
we'll see. That's the thing. That's the thing.
We were bowling against. I think it was against Portland when we were bowling for the cup, and Ildemaro had let one fly, and none of us knew he had said it, but there was a TV break after the 5 frames, and Coley and I think someone else that came out and they're like, hey, we love the enthusiasm and the energy, but we need to watch the language, like no swearing and none of that. And so I didn't know, like I didn't hear it. And so I thought they had caught me saying something because we had a game where me and Ildemaro struck the first 2, and then we went wrap 10, wrap 10, wrap 10, like all in a row. And they had tripped a couple of shots out. And so I got in the 6th and I struck and came back. And as I'm putting my mask on, like trying to cover it, I was like, I'm tired of this shit. Let's go, guys. And like, I thought they had caught it. And I'm like, I thought she said something to me. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. But I didn't realize Ildemaro had dropped the F-bomb that people could hear like clear as day.
Well, there was one particular person, and I'm not going to mention any names, but there was one person that was like, I'm glad my mic wasn't hot because I dropped about 10 F-bombs. Like, this is effing crazy. I can't effing believe it, whatever. And I think that's the different part, like you say, AJ, about when you're bowling in a team competition, even if it's doubles, when you're bowling something that's not you individually, man, it's a whole different feeling for
100%.
us as professionals. It's very, very different.
100%.
The last thing you want to do is do anything to mess up your partner. The last thing you want to do is anything, even when you try to communicate, like you're so cautious on what you're saying. And if one of your teammates or your doubles partner or anybody asks you, so what move you want me to make? Mm-hmm. Gosh, I don't want to be the one to tell you what move to make. You make the move, right? Like a good caddy. Nope, you're capable. You know how to bowl. You go bowl. Right. I'm just telling you, I'm giving the information, and then you know what to do with it.
Right.
So, and then in that setting, keep in mind, a lot of people don't know we only had 1 shot on each lane. I think a couple of us got 2 shots on one of the lanes. You know what I mean? They only give us, like, I think it was 5 minutes of practice, or maybe it was 3 minutes of practice. I don't know.
I don't know. We only got like 1 shot.
Right. So we're bowling over and we're trying to stay loose off on the side. And then they bring us onto the set. And then we're sitting there waiting for all the production to happen. We're standing there, the anticipation of what's about to happen. In our case, the Brooklyn Styles, Johnny, what a great job Johnny Petraglia does with our team. We were, to say we were slightly offended by being ranked last, that's an understatement. There's a lot of pride there. Walter Ray, we wanted so bad to be able to win a match. And then, okay, all right, start your, whatever it was, start your 5 minutes of practice, and then you switch after 3 minutes or whatever it was. I don't even remember what it was, but we literally only got 1 shot. And we had been trying to watch the other TV show, and we realized, wow, they look different over there. Mm-hmm. Now, what makes them so different? Well, the airflow is different. That part of the bowling center, when they're building that set the day before and then all through the night, there could be all kinds of people walking around those lanes. And they have those lanes stripped. Maybe there's more dust that settles onto the lanes when it's over there. Certainly, I already mentioned it, but certainly airflow could be completely different.
TV light.
Yeah, TV light. Surface temperature of the lane is different. Mm-hmm. And when you only have 1 shot and you have all those emotions going into it, and then the guy that you're starting out with, I'm sitting there thinking, literally, this could very well be my last time on television. And I take it that seriously. I took it to that extreme. Last year, I was fortunate enough to be on the Brooklyn Styles. And I told many of our people here, please watch. It might very well be my last time on television for my career. And I'm okay with it. And I've owned that. But all of those emotions, and then to have the guy you're bowling against, some little punk shyster who just rolled the 2-pin to kick your butt in one tournament, and then now comes out there. Yeah. throws the shot and throws a great shot and strikes. It's like, oh yeah, come on, let's go. Over in your lane, I'm thinking, who's this kid think he's messing with here? Let's go, let's show him. And so then I got up there and I'm like, I'm grinding on this shot, right? Really grinding on this shot and getting out there and throwing it. Oh, and it hydroplaned a little down lane. Ooh, but I got the strike. So I'm like, all right, he got the strike. All right, yeah, let's go. And that's kind of just how it came out. It's just exactly how the emotions happened inside of me. Now, nobody's ever accused me as being cool. And throughout my entire life. And that's always bothered me. It has genuinely bothered me throughout my entire career. Even my kids, like, hey, do you guys think I'm cool? And my kids are like, no, Dad, you're not cool.
You're dead.
I'm just not cool. And I wish I was. Now, Tommy Jones, he's cool. Everybody that knows Tommy Jones thinks Tommy Jones is a cool cat. And, you know, you have Wes Malott getting out there and just doing his thing. And Timmy Mack, you know, why can't my emotion, he's feeling the same emotions as I feel, but his mannerisms are so different and they're so fun to watch. Kyle Troop, how cool is it to watch him perform? And, you know, and some of these guys coming up, but me, I'm just me. Overweight Brad. I'm the only guy that had a 2XL shirt on our team. I'm the only guy that wanted to wear my shirt out because I didn't want my flab to come out because the shirts were a little shorter this year. So I said, screw it. I'm wearing my short out or wearing my shirt out. And then, all right, I throw that shot. And it's like, and then I watch myself on TV and I'm like, they say TV adds 20 pounds, but man, I think it's more.
I certainly hope it doesn't. I've been working my ass off to try to get a lot of that off. So
you know what? It's more power to you. That's one. AJ, how old are you now?
I just turned 28 at the beginning of September.
Just turned 28. So I've been doing this for a living since before you were born. And I remember when I was skinny like you. I remember when I was in good shape. And, you know, to the point that it does bother me. But I don't, for whatever the reason, I don't have the willpower to do anything about it. And it makes me so frustrated. Trying to race here, run up and get my daughter from school. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's my drink. I got extra shots of mocha and all kinds of stuff.
I could get you a couple shots of protein we can put in there, make it a little bit better for you.
I'm telling you what, it really does. So here's a good little story. So I bought this bike this summer, but when I bought the bike a week prior, I was playing golf and I brushed up against some sort of weed in the rough that I was allergic to apparently. And I got this horrible rash all over my legs to the point that it blistered. So I finally bought this bike, and it was right in the middle of when I was dealing with all of that rash. And we were still all shut down here at the bowling center. So by the time the rash cleared up, because they didn't want me to go into the sun, they wanted me to stay out of the sun and all that jazz. Okay, I won't. So by the time the rash cleared up, we were opening here. We finally, our governor decided that he was going to grace us to allow those business owners to be able to actually earn money.
Right.
So we were allowed to open up. And I have yet to go on a bike ride. I said the other day, guys, I'm going to go on a bike ride. Like I exclaimed it. I'm going on a bike ride today. And then one thing led to another, and I didn't go. And my willpower is so low, and the stress level that we're under trying to make it here at the bowling center is so high. And my wife, Michelle, she works her tail off. She was here till 11 o'clock last night. And it just feels like, you know what, we're just not getting there. So I don't know why I was saying what that has to do with you, AJ. It has to do with, oh, yeah, because I'm 40 pounds overweight and you're 30 years younger than me. And that's just the reality of the thing. What?
Okay, got a question.
Uh-oh. Now we got question and answer time. Okay. So when I get the weight.
Hey, I has a thing. I have a thing.
Okay. So you say a thing.
Does anyone at the pro shop or Brad's bowling center know the whereabouts of Brad the night after the show? My car got broken into that in between when we got back from between midnight and 8 a.m.
Mum's the word. Wait a minute. I just did that. I can't even keep my mouth shut doing that.
Nah, yeah. So it was kind of funny. Like some people kind of try to bring some light to it because, of course, we find out the news with Marshall, and then we had our thing on TV, and then I walk outside to go play golf the next morning with a bunch of friends, and my car got broken into. And I mean, not just like, tried to get in the door or anything like that. No, glass shattered all in my car. And the only things that were taken were Marshall's backpack and Danielle's backpack. There was nothing. I'm like, I feel horrible because I felt like I did something wrong. And so, talking to people, and there was a few that were like, does anybody know the whereabouts of Brad Angelo the night after your match?
Well, it's,
all right,
it's tough to get fingerprints off of bricks. I just want you to know.
Okay.
His lunch money back.
Yeah, I want my damn lunch money back. You know what? I'm really sorry to hear that. Truthfully, that sucks. My car's been broken into before, and it's just a crappy thing. Just from the standpoint of that you feel violated.
Yeah.
From the other standpoint of what a hassle it's got to be. Now I got to file the insurance, and then I got to go and it's got to be in the shop, and I got to be without a car for however long till it gets fixed, and I got to replace this crap, all that crap. It's just a pain in the neck.
Now my door, the door that it happened to, it sounds like a baby rattle when I shut the door because there's still some glass in between the door panels.
Well, Josh knows about what I'm saying because a couple weeks ago he smoked a deer on the way home from Bolt League. Smoked the deer, and taking a still picture, and you can see the smoke like coming out of his car. And so now he's driving a loaner car while his car's been in the shop. It's just a pain in the neck. It's just the upheaval of your normal routine. It just sucks. So right. I'm sorry to hear that. I'll give you back the stuff when I see you sometime.
All right.
I did have some pretty nice golf clubs in there, by the way. So
okay.
Who is the toughest opponent you've ever bowled against?
All right. So here's the question: who's the toughest opponent I've ever bowled against?
Both of us?
Yeah, for you. Go ahead. You go ahead first.
All right. Well, considering I have now finished second place for a national title, I think 6 or 7 times now. It seems like they all are. But there's certain guys that you get, you kind of give a little bit more focus to. You're bowling a match play or on TV. My first time on TV, I bowled against Belmo. He's without a doubt, the greatest of our sport right now, and will probably go down in history as the greatest because he broke the major record. He's doing things that guys just aren't doing, and it's incredible to watch. Of course, you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and that was my mindset when I bowled him for the first time. I'm like, no problem. I just beat him the night before. No different. Well, TV and the lanes, like we had talked about earlier, the lanes play totally different on TV than what they do in the rest of the bowling center. And that was the fastest game of bowling in my entire life. But I'm, trying to pinpoint certain one. I don't want. I'd hate for him to actually watch this and for him to actually hear me say it. But I would have to say Tommy. Tommy Jones was one of the guys that I watched as a kid growing up that I emulated my style after. He was one of the guys that bowling on TV. He had a string going, and he would get the crowd into it, and he would get excited and get his emotion, and that's kind of where a lot of it comes from. That I have, and I'd come downstairs and ask my dad, "Hey, is Tommy on?" Nope. All right, I don't want to watch. Or Chris or what, and then, those guys that I've gotten the chance to bowl with on Team USA and learn from. But every time I bowl Tommy in match play, like I get this feeling is like that was who I watched growing up. That was where I wanted to be. That's who I wanted to be. But I got to beat him. Like it's time for the flip and the takeover. And for whatever reason, except for one time overseas, he always got me. And I think it's just because of that. I'm like, it's in the back of my head, I'm like, well, I don't care. Like I've bowled against him. I've bowled with him for many years. And, I've hung out with him. Like, I don't care. He's just another one of the guys. But when you're bowling, it's like, holy shit, I watched this guy growing up. We bowled together in Team USA. You get the feeling of wanting to that's the guy you want to beat. But I got his number in Korea. So that was cool. We had a good match going. I shot 800 at him, and I was like, yeah, all right, this feels pretty good.
I as I'm sitting here and I get to read some of the comments that are down here in the bottom right here of our feed. I don't know. Can you see the comments, AJ?
Yeah, I can see
okay.
All of them, yeah.
Okay, so I'm reading some of the comments here, and then I'm listening to your story. And, when you talk about Tommy Jones, I got to bowl with Tommy Jones, and we won the World Team Challenge, the Grand Championship in 2000. And so 20 years ago now. And that was when Tommy had hair. So that was a long time ago.
He didn't have it for very long.
Never seen
and he had came up here. We'd bowled some tournaments up here, and he stayed at my house. And I think that's the thing for me that again, like I referenced, I realize I'm very much towards the end of my career, and whatever that means. Yes, I'll still be bowling. Yes, I'll still be competing. But as far as being out on the national tour and being a threat to win a title, things have to go really, really well for me to be in that situation anymore. But the one thing I want to say is, as I was reading the comments, was, what's it like to bowl with Norm Duke, or yeah, Brad's the best in Lockport. I'm like, ooh, great. That's great. Now, not that there's not a lot of great bowlers here in Lockport, but a long time ago, you work, and AJ, I know what I'm going to say. You work so hard. I just want to get a little bit better. Now I want to get out and compete against this group. Now I want to go. Now I can go compete. And my very first tournament was in Albany, New York, back in 2003, or 2002, and I had already been on Team USA. I had already won amateur tournaments, but to finally be out there and bowl on the PBA tour, and I'm standing up there, and I'm looking to my right, and there's Norm Duke, and I'm competing against him right on the lanes. Look to my left. Wow, crap, there's Walter Ray Williams right there, and Parker Bone, and Wayne Webb, and some of these guys that I watched growing up. And now to be friends with all of them. Mm-hmm. And I say friends, I mean that. I can so many of the people you would say, yeah, Brad, who's your biggest nemesis on TV, or who's the biggest competitor? Every person that I can think of, they would be my biggest competitor if we were playing golf. And I've played golf with so many of them. Mm-hmm. And AJ, you can understand what I'm meaning now, is that any of those people,
yeah, doesn't matter.
If you were to pick up your phone, many of them, you have their personal phone number in your phone. And if you called them as soon as they saw AJ Johnson, or in my case, maybe they would see Brad Angelo, they would answer. Mm-hmm. And to me, at the end of my career, looking back, that's been probably the most special part of it for me. Is that those people that I had looked up to, like, wow, look at those guys, they're so great. Now to be able to call so many of those guys my friends, I mean, and the other person you referenced, Jason Belmonte. Yes, everybody knows about the controversy about Bottlegate and all of that stuff, and that was so long ago.
Yeah,
and it happened. And whatever side of the fence you're on, and however you look at that, it happened. And my emotion came out on the show, and that was the thing that fueled it, and whatever. But since then, I feel like I've gotten to know part of Jason, and I think Jason has done an unbelievable job for our sport at being the role of the best bowler in the world, because I don't think there's any doubt when you're in a tournament, he's the guy you're looking at, that after it all the smoke clears, you're going to have to beat him. Isn't that right? Now there's probably 5 to 10 guys that you look at like that you want to watch what they're doing, but he's really the guy that's on the top of the mountain right now. But all the things that he's done for our sport to gain exposure outside of our sport, the world's fastest strike, the Dude Perfect trick shot video that millions of people watched.
Oh, my nephew still talks about those videos.
That's what I mean. The thinking out of the box to the point to where he gained so much more viewership and exposure for our sport. I mean, he's done a great job.
Right.
Now, does that mean when we're on the lanes and if he crinkles a bottle again that I'm not going to get pissed off? No, of course I will, because that's that moment.
Right.
But off the lanes, the amount of respect that I have for all of these people, whether they like me or not, I don't know if envious is the right word, jealous is the right word. I wanted to win. I wanted to win the Elias Cup. And, I had told some people, AJ, I guess I might as well say it, you're right here, but I had told a number of people, we bowl a league here. I bowl in a league here in my bowling center on Wednesday night. And last Wednesday, we were watching the finals right over here on our TVs over in the bar. And you guys were bowling the Lumberjacks, and I had told a bunch of the people, if Las Vegas wins, my vote for the most valuable player of the whole league was you. And I meant that, because you handled the controversy. You got up there, you made shots, and I don't know what all the stats were. But then I look at guys like, Kyle Troop and Wes Malott and I came out on tour. The Wes Malott and I were rookies in the same year. Yeah. And fortunately that year I had a little better year and I was voted rookie of the year. But now I look at Wes's career and all the titles and anchoring in the team that has won now back-to-back Elias Cups. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, I want to feel what that's like. And I don't know that I'll ever have that chance. And it's okay if I don't, but I still want to feel it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's all kinds of things that when you look back, I mean, I'm sure I'll have this, when I get to be your age, that, there's things that I look back on. And I mean, there's things I look back on now being 28 that I'm like, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I could have felt what that was like. Guys that are my age that have had a lot of success, like, EJ, I always thought when I bowled with EJ for many years, we bowled on Team USA together. We bowled youth stuff. I mean, we bowled all kinds of stuff around. I'm like, I always thought, I don't understand what's so different about him than my game. We're the only two one-handed bowlers at the ITRC in Texas to hit 600 in rev rate. So he doesn't do anything more special than me. And so I'm like, to see what he's done, I mean, it's incredible. It's unbelievable. But I'm like, I want that. That's what I'm working for. That's what I've been working for my entire life. And what I still work for, now, I'm always trying to find different ways to get better and things, because that's what I want to have. That's what I want to feel. So you can look back at all kinds of different things.
Exactly. I have to tell you that, I feel like I've been around a long time, and I've seen a lot of things, and there are junior bowlers right now that when they bowl the Pro-Am, they want to be AJ Johnson. And you're going to see some of these kids bowl, and you're going to be like, wow, I got to remember that kid's name. Well, I'm going to tell you a story. So there is who I would call a whole family who are genuinely friends of mine that I could call if I needed anything, and I think they would try to help. And their last name is Yonan, Yonan. Yonan.
Absolutely.
Keith Yonan. His son died unexpectedly at a young age. And for the last now 15, almost 20 years, he has held a fundraiser in his son's name up in Wisconsin. And I was fortunate enough to be one of the pros that they asked to come in to bowl as part of this fundraiser that they held for his son Sean. His name's Sean Yonan, and his older brother Trevor, and then Jocelyn. What a great family. But I was up there bowling this thing, and the night before the main event, they have this high school tournament. And there was this kid bowling in this high school event, and I'm watching this kid. He's literally a kid, just a 15, 16-year-old teenager. Wow, this kid is awesome. And little did I know that, 12, 13 years later, I'm going to be one-on-one talking to him, trash talking to him last week on the professional bowlers tour. That was when I first met AJ Johnson. So much so that a couple years after that, I bowled a regional in Indiana, and AJ Johnson, wow, there's this kid again, and he made the cut. And guess who the last two people out of the parking lot were? Me and AJ Johnson. We stood in the parking lot and talked about Bowl U stuff, you and your dad, and a shout out to your dad too. What a great guy. What great parents you have to drive you all over the place, everywhere you've needed to be.
Yeah.
They've dropped everything to be there for you. Well, AJ Johnson and I out in the parking lot at Pinhead's Lane, or Pinhead's Bowl and Entertainment Center, whatever you want to call it out there in Fishers, Indiana. Hour and a half, 2 hours we spent in the parking lot. Bowling center locked up, and we're just out there in the parking lot. And now here you are. So, again, those are the things that, to me, those are the things that the people watching, that they can't possibly experience like we experience, the other side of it. They only know what they see on that television.
Right.
And they can take from that whatever they want to take from that. And you'll never know the true heart or the true passion of each of those guys that are on that television. What's the behind the scenes story?
Right.
And that's what I want to try to have come out on this show. So you get a chance to meet AJ. All right. So now Josh, he's been waving at me for 10 minutes.
Shut the hell up.
I can't shut up. You know why? Because I got a lot to say. And you know what? Those of you that are watching, if you need to be done, or you need to go back to work, or you need to go to the restroom, if you can't take your computer into the bathroom with you, that's fine.
Stop.
You can sign up.
I hear him saying in the back, "Hey, stop."
Well, he is, but the point is that I want this show to be able to show the other side of what people wouldn't, not like I'm Roy Firestone, like in what was that movie?
Oh my God, here we go.
What was the movie? Roy Firestone.
Might as well
Show Me the Money. What's Show Me the Money? What the heck is that show? Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire and the guy that Roy Firestone, the famous interviewer.
Picture time
He's like, "Come, you're gonna get me, Roy. Don't you get me?" Show
I
me.
might be a little young for that one.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Yeah, you are a little young and every reason. All right, so Josh, go ahead.
All
Give
right,
us a
there's a
question.
couple of questions. We'll just ask them all at once. What's the tournament you guys look forward to the most each and every year?
What tournament do we look forward to?
And what's your most memorable win? Doesn't have to be on the PBA.
And what's your
Most memorable win.
the most memorable win?
Doesn't have to be PBA related.
I guess I'll go first.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, because I can make it quick. Yeah, quick for me. You know, I got to tell you, I don't know if I have one. I know there's been highlights throughout my career to where I feel like if I just pulled that just one that meant the most, then it wouldn't do justice to the other ones that equally meant so much. But the one that I seem to reference the most is when I won the Eagle at ABC or USBC Nationals. And the only reason that one seems to be the one that means the most to me is because it was the team. It was the team setting. And as a group, the other 9 guys made the lanes and turned the lanes into what we had planned on turning the lanes into. I couldn't have done it without the other 9 guys. And I still have the practice score sheets of us working on things right over here on lanes 21 and 22 at my center. This is the plan. No matter what pattern we put out, this is what we're going to do to whatever we see out there. And we all kept score. I still have those score sheets. I'm not going to throw them out because they mean so much to me.
You guys won an Eagle that year, of course.
Well, we didn't win an Eagle, but I won the Eagle as far as the bowling world is concerned. But together, when I look at that Eagle, there's 10 names on that Eagle.
Yeah.
And that's why that is the most memorable one for me. So go ahead, AJ. What's your most memorable win?
It's probably pretty similar. You know, we bowl a lot of things individually. And obviously,
and you better not say the sweeper in Columbus. You better not say that sweeper.
I actually didn't even know we had a chance to win that. I was just trying to strike so we could finish as high as we could.
All right, go ahead. Memorable win.
We bowl a lot individually. Everything we do is almost individual, so we don't get many opportunities to bowl in the team stuff. You know, I finally won. I consider it my first professional win. PBA won't give me credit for it, but the Sam Ho Cup in Korea last year. I mean, the guys that I had to beat to get there from over here were incredible. You had to get an invite. You know, it's the best of the best. And not to mention some of the bowlers in Korea aren't too shabby.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that was huge. But I got to tell you, I had one goal when I was in college, and that was to win a national championship with my team and with McKendree University. And in the 4 years that I was there, we finished second one year to Robert Morris, the team that Marshall Kent was on. Marshall Kent, Jacob Kent, Kyle King, Matt Gasson, basically Junior Team USA.
Which, by the way, so Del Warren just put a post up the other day about how that might arguably be the best college team ever assembled.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked at those names, and every single one of those names on that team was like, wow, he was on that team. Holy crap, he's on that team?
Yeah.
Wow. So.
And they about halfway through when I was in school, they were trying to get me to transfer to go over and bowl with them. I'm like, nah, I want to beat you guys. I'm good. I like it here. But we didn't win a national championship. And the year right after I had graduated, McKendree won a national championship. And I couldn't have been happier because a lot of the guys were there when I was in school. And so I didn't get that feeling. But I got the opportunity to go to Las Vegas in 2017 with Team USA for the World Championships. And the World Championships for us that's the biggest event that we compete in. I want to say there was something like 42 different countries there that week. And we bowled on probably one of the hardest patterns I think I bowled on in a long time. Seemed like it was dead flat, 1-1, 39 feet, and it played to that. And we got to the team match in the finals and had to bowl against the Chinese Taipei. Now, people that don't know or haven't seen them, the Chinese Taipei are spinners. They throw an 11-pound ball and a 12-pound ball, and that's it. And they spin it, and they study deflection, so they know like what side of the head pin to hit and how to get the pins to fall the right way. And they bowl unbelievable. There was one 300 that week, and it was a spinner. And his 10th frame, he went right side of the head pin, through the middle of the head pin, left side of the head pin.
So listen to this. So I end up, and I don't know if you answered the question or not, but now my brain's running on something else.
We ended up winning the gold medal, and Tommy had threw a shot. He threw a shot in the match right before, and he came back and like jumped into my arms, and I'm like, wait a second, is this happening? I'm like, there's no way.
See, if I jumped into your arms, I'd herniate 2 discs on your body, so I guess I should do that. So listen to this. Listen, so when I was on Brunswick staff after the Japan Cup, Brunswick would have us go around and do a bunch of things around Asia. One of the stops that we did this exhibition in Beijing, China, and Alan Chan. Now, Alan Chan is a name that a lot of people around here in the Buffalo area remember Alan Chan. And what a great guy, what a great job he does in the bowling world. Well, he was in charge of Brunswick, Asia. So we go, and Alan Chan's my guy in Beijing, China. And I did this exhibition on closed circuit communist television in Beijing, China. I did this exhibition. So I'm bowling against the Chinese national team. 4 of the 5 guys are spinners. Well, they oil the lanes, and I'm throwing these practice shots, and I throw one, and the ball goes boom, flying over. I take 3 off the left. So I move a little more in, a little bit more parallel in, and I throw the next shot, and I missed the head pin to the right. So the first 2 shots, I got 3 off the left, and I missed the head pin to the right, and I only moved a couple boards. So I look at Alan, and I'm like, Alan, this isn't going to be very fun. He goes, and Alan, he always talks with his mouth covered. He always covers his mouth. So he says, no problem, Brad, no problem. I fix it for you. I fix it. So he goes and gets a towel, and he was out there on his hands and knees trying to blend out the cliff. So he's out there trying to wipe oil off to make the lateral transition. So he's out there. Well, after about 3 or 4 shots, I'm going, this isn't going to work at all. I bowl the first guy. So it was like a 4-game exhibition or 5-game exhibition against all their guys. The first Taipei twister guy, he shoots 207, and I shoot 146 or something like that. The second guy, he shoots 218, and I shoot 163. And I go to Alan. I said, I have no chance. So the beauty of that method of bowling is they only look at the pins. Literally, they make every adjustment off the pins. They take the whole oil pattern out of play, completely out of play. And the good Taipei twisters, they call them, the good spinners, they shoot between 205 and 225 on everything, no matter what you put out there. And if their ball isn't doing the right thing, if the pins aren't cooperating properly, they go up a pound of bowling ball or they go down a pound of bowling ball to be able to make that deflection. So that's what AJ was meaning when he was talking about that. So the third match, I end up bowling against a guy that throws it our conventional way. And I kicked his butt. I think I bowled 182 and he bowled like 150 or something like that. So that was my one time. Now I bowled the last 2 matches against the really good twisters. No chance. I did trick shots the whole time. I'm throwing balls out of a towel, backwards between my legs because I told Alan, like, there's no way I can bowl any. So that's a true story. You would have never seen that, but it was on closed circuit communist television. And that was one of the highlights of my career, too, believe it or not. So I don't think I've ever told you that story. Did I ever tell you that story?
No.
That was the first time I had ever seen him. And I'm like,
Oh, they're awesome.
broke his wrist. And that's what they do.
Now, here's the thing. If the scoring pace is a higher scoring pace,
You're
like,
screwed.
yeah, they have no chance.
Right.
Because very few of them can shoot 230 or 240. You know, they might have a game or two to where, but they average between 205 to 225,
Yep.
no matter what you put out there. But as soon as you start being able, you know, like bowling against AJ, if he gets lined up, you know, he's going to shoot 240 or 250, and they just can't keep up because, you know, they leave 5 pins. Our hit is either, our pocket hit is either a 7 pin or a 10 pin. Their biggest tap is a 5 pin, and they never miss spares. They don't ever miss spares,
No.
but they very seldom leave splits. So, anyways, Josh, what's another question?
Well, this is a question that I got. Seeing how you two both have bowled on Team USA, what is different from when you bowled on Team USA to AJ now?
That's a good question. I mean, I can only talk when I was on Team USA in 1997 and 1998. Chris Barnes was on the team. Yeah, AJ was 5. So he was probably, I don't know if you start kindergarten at 5 or 6, but knowing you, they probably held you back till you were 7.
I had to because it was my birthday. I had to wait a year. But in all actuality, it worked out.
But I have to tell you, being on Team USA, for me, the biggest part that's different than anything else I've ever done in my life, and it's kind of similar to bowling on the Brooklyn Styles, you don't have your name on your back. You have USA on your back. And you win a gold medal. I was fortunate enough to win a couple golds and a couple silvers in the international competition, whether it was doubles, trios, or team. I think I had a silver in the singles event. But when you win that gold medal and they put the podium out on the approach and they have 1, 2, 3, and they present you the gold medal, you know, you lean down and they put the medal over and you stand up and they give you your roses and you're standing there with that, and then they play the national anthem.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it does something to you. And I don't want to get political. I understand the reasons why other professional sports are kneeling during our national anthem. I don't think I could ever do it. It meant so much to me to hear our national anthem played. And it wasn't played for me. It was played for our country, to be able to represent our country.
Right.
And some people would say, yeah, it's only bowling. Yeah, but it's not only bowling. Not to me, not to AJ.
It's still a part of the USOC.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, to me, that's the biggest thing that's different. You know, you don't have Angelo on your back. There's different letters on your back, and it means something.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. It's the first opportunity that I got to bowl with Team USA, and you put the jersey on and you realize that, and you have those 3 letters on your back and you're wearing those colors. It's just a different feeling. And it's a feeling that it's hard to describe to somebody that hasn't gotten the chance to. But I do think that one of the biggest differences, and I think when you bowled back with Team USA, you guys were still going to the Olympic Village in Colorado, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
now as part for our training center, or for our training week, we go to the ITRC down in Texas. And I think the biggest difference now, and I mean, I'm not trying to make an age reference, but the technology that's available now versus back then is unbelievable. You know, what they have, what the capabilities they have down in that training facility in Texas. I mean, there's a lot of people ask me, like, what's your favorite bowling center? You know, where's the coolest place you ever gotten to bowl? I'm like, I've traveled overseas and gone to some pretty cool bowling centers over there. But I said, the coolest bowling center is the ITRC down in Texas. I said, because the facility and the training tools that they have to work on your game and to make yourself better is bar none to anyone else. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And I think that's one of the biggest differences is that information and that capability is way more readily available now than it ever has been.
Jody Ellis, put this up. So we're down. When I was on Team USA, we bowled the South Africa Cup, and that was down in Cape Town, South Africa, as well as Johannesburg, South Africa. And when I had Chris Barnes on, or when I was on Chris Barnes's show, Beef and Barnesy, I think it was when I was on Barnes's Beef and Barnes, Stu and whatever, Beef and Barnesy show. But they made reference to this to when we went on this safari, and the elephant came out of the bushes and was going to attack our safari van or whatever it was we were all in. Well, lo and behold, we were way out in the middle of nowhere, and then it got dark, and then we had to make this whole drive back to it was Sun City was the name of the resort that had this whole safari thing, and it was a beautiful, beautiful resort. So it was probably 45 minutes. Well, lo and behold, I don't know if it was on that or if it was on the bus ride back to the hotel, but it was all quiet, and I don't know, somebody had some music playing, and so I started singing to the whole everybody on the bus. And I was really trying to sing like I was karaoke. I was a karaoke MFer, man. I got to tell you what. And Jody, you're right. I mean, that was one of the memories. There's still a lot of people on that trip. Taco, if you remember Taco, Tarek Helmi from Egypt, he was on that trip. And when I was over in Egypt teaching with Rick Benoit, Taco, that's one of the first things he said. Are you going to sing again soon? Are you going to work on some of this stuff together soon? So those were some of the moments that, like I say, the memories that you have. Yes, it's great on the lanes. It really is. That's what got us all aspiring to be great. But the relationships and the stories and the things that we've done together off the lanes, that's the most meaningful thing in the world. Jody Ellis, she ended up coming here to Buffalo. She bowled for Erie Community College here in Buffalo.
Wow.
And from Africa. So, Jody, good to hear you on, see you on here, and I'm glad you're watching.
Well, now I'm kind of upset because in between games of our match on TV, you started breaking out into this into dances and stuff. I'm kind of upset you didn't start singing too.
Dude, they had some good music on. I forget. Oh no, that was oh man, who's the guy? Bruno. They had Bruno
Mars. Yeah.
Bruno Mars. He's one of my wife's favorite, and so I heard that, and so I was like, yeah, this is cool. So I was jamming, and you were dancing too, though. Don't be trying to play it out on me. You were the one that started, and I'm like, yeah, this guy, he thinks he can dance. I got the moves too. I can throw some moves down. So, anyways, all right. What do we got, Josh? Anything else? Are we good? AJ, I'm really glad you came on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe sometime. Josh has been talking about he wants to run a tournament here, and I don't know if it's going to be a senior tournament. I don't know if it'll be like a over under. I don't know if it'll be like a Baker doubles or Baker trios or something like that. But depending on when it is and if it fits in your schedule, I know Chicago, where you live, is probably a solid 8, maybe 9 hour drive to get here. Well, depending on where it is, you lose the hour driving here, but
yeah.
If we end up doing something like that, and you're welcome to stay at my house. You're gonna have to sleep with one eye open, though.
I think
I got gets fixed by then.
I got myself covered. We're good.
But I think that would be great if I could get some of the guys it would mean a lot to me. It probably won't be a whole lot of money and even worthwhile to make the trip. But if
it'd be worth it to go play golf with your kids so I could get beat by him.
Oh my gosh, man, he's playing so good. I'm so proud of Dylan. I hope it ends up turning out to be something, because I want my mortgage paid. So I've told my son I don't want one penny if you end up making it big in golf. I don't want one penny. I just want my mortgage paid. I want a monthly salary. I want my car paid off. So that's not one penny. That's a lot of pennies. But I feel like something's got to come back this way.
That's why I keep telling everyone my nephew is taking a really big interest in golf. I mean, he loves doing everything sport-wise. But this summer he took a golf camp, and I had a couple of videos, and guys were sending me like, where did he learn to swing like that? And what has he been doing? He's 8 years old. And I'm like, I try to do a little bit here and there, but he's been doing it in a camp. And I said, hey, I got my retirement all set up. I'm going to bowl as long as I can. When he goes to the tour, I'm just going to get ready for him.
That's what we're talking about. You know who else is really good is Timmy Mack's brother, James Mack, his son. So Timmy's
nephew, I saw that.
Timmy's nephew just played in a junior golf tournament. I don't know even how old he is. I want to say he's, I don't know, maybe somewhere around 10, maybe 12, maybe 8, but it doesn't matter. Played in this junior golf tournament, and as only Tim Mack can, he was recording this shot on a par 3, and lo and behold, that little kid got a hole in one. You saw that video, right?
Yeah, I saw that. They were going nuts.
They were going nuts. Now, you would have thought Timmy won his third Elias Cup.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
When he's jumping around, we went in, I can't believe it. Oh, that's great. And shout out to Timmy Mack. He's back competing again. He's been on the lanes bowling. So it's great that after all of his years, literally years of health issues, body issues, shoulder, knee replacements, surgeries here, there, all kinds of stuff he's got going on. So it's great to see him back. And, Josh, I don't know. Do we got anything else?
No, man, we're good.
We're good. AJ, you got anything else?
You
I feel like I could sit here and we could talk forever. What are we on here? We're over an hour already.
Yeah. It's good. I'm glad. It was pretty cool. You guys reached out and wanted to bring me on the show. It's I like doing these things. I had a lot of fun with.
What'd you say?
She said, "No, dude, we got stuff to do."
Okay, so my wife just walked in. She just went to the store. She's back behind the bar doing supplies because she's here half the time. So she just heard me say, "So do you want to keep going?" And I hear this sound because I hear things in, but I hear her voice right over the top of anything. It's like,
of course,
it's like when her voice talks, it's like when the mommy duck says, type of thing.
So when our viewers get to listen.
Yeah. So all of our viewers. So I heard her say something, and I had to say, "Josh, what did she say?" And Josh told me what she says. So Josh, what did she just say?
Dude, we got to go somewhere.
Dude, we got stuff to do. We got to go somewhere. So we don't have any more time. I've used up all of my time. I got to get back into the she's got to put the ball and chain back on because that's the way she rolls.
No, I appreciate
time out. She brought us lunch.
This is never
Say goodbye. Here, you want to come in here? I'll turn this thing around and get you on camera.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, yeah.
I hope. No, here's what I genuinely hope. And this goes out to anybody that's watching. I hope that you can find a significant other that you can love as much as I love my wife. And I don't say that to score any points. No joke.
Here come the water.
I am
my God. Why don't you get out your pictures out of your phone and have family portrait time?
Shut up. I'm absolutely head over heels for my wife. I wish she was head over heels for me. But I'm head over heels for her. So that's the truth. I know what?
You make me sound like the freaking Wicked Witch of the West.
I made her sound like the Wicked Witch of the West. Well, kind of. I mean, you do. Here, I got this. Go. I'll keep this
Poor
on.
AJ, he's got to sit here and listen to this shit.
I'm
She's
I'm
the best thing that's ever happened to me, and that's the truth. Yeah, I'll come. Wait a minute. We're losing viewers left and right here. Everybody, come back on. Come back on. That number's going down like crazy. No, I'm only kidding.
No, but I appreciate you guys reaching out, wanting to bring me on, and we could joke about it and throw our shots back and forth. because of the relationship that we created back when when I was a kid, when we first met each other. No, this has been a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with doing these. Being on Stu and Chris's show and doing a couple others. Like, these are a lot of fun, and I think it brings, like what you said, brings light to who we are away from the lanes, and they only get to see the certain the small glimpses of what when we're competing, and they don't get to see this side of us. So it's pretty cool.
They don't. And I mean, yeah, and in my case, AJ, I met you probably 20, 25 pounds ago. So
25 pounds for me too.
I know. Now, the one thing I have learned from my wife is when you're getting a good picture taken, you want to make sure you stick your chin out because the picture can't tell the depth. So it makes you look a little bit skinnier. So we'll sign off with me doing my turtle deal.
Great.
She's in the back over there. She's like, oh my gosh. Hey, listen, seriously, AJ, thanks for coming on. And if we put a tournament together, if you have some time, it'd be great to have you come out. Okay.
Absolutely. That'd be great.
Guys, thanks for watching. Tim at Friends Photography, please reach out to him. He just did senior pictures of our daughter. They were unbelievable. So if Michelle will allow me, I'll get some of the nicer ones and we'll throw them on the show here. So not so you can see how beautiful our daughter is, but so that maybe some of you out there can get a photo gig from Tim, because he did an amazing job. And then Josh at 10 in the Pit Pro Shop. Storm, we'll give a shout out to Brett Spangler with Motive, with AJ. Thanks for everything that all of you do for those of us in the bowling industry. It's such a small pie that we're all dealing with, and we got to give all of us credit for keeping the torch going with our sport. So please continue to support your local bowling center. We need you. And for the number of people that are still watching, thanks for staying this long and laughing a little bit with us. All right.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate this.
We'll see you next week. I don't know what we're going to do next week. We'll do something fun, but okay. Next week, we're going to do the Axiom Pearl. Josh just told me, so we'll feature the Axiom Pearl. All right. AJ, thanks. I appreciate it. And I'm really glad I used my cat-like reflexes to dodge that haymaker that was coming right there from AJ.
That's great.
Hey, thanks, Age. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, buddy?
Sounds good, guys. We'll see you guys soon.
All right, see you.